This is what you're looking for. In a lineup where a lot of guys strike out, he actually puts the ball in play and uses his speed a lot more. And I like that about him.
Mm-hmm.
Every come from behind win, I feel like he's had his fingerprints all over it.
He literally just seems like he could just pick a spot in the outfield and that's where he's going to hit the ball. Like, those are the moments right there where he's just really showing off just how great his hitting skills are. 120, Shasky, do you think the Giants can hit 120 stolen bases this season?
Oof. I'm going to say yes.
So if they did that, it would be the most in the Oracle Park era, the most they've had in that time since 2000. They swiped 119 stolen bases in 2007 of all seasons. That has been the standard for the Giants. One of the few times they have finished in the top 10 in stolen bases in the major leagues. And that's kind of what I want to lean into a little bit just to start things off here, Shasky, is you're seeing so much more speed from this team this year. I mentioned at the end of the morning roast this morning, of the 12 stolen bases the Giants have taken this year, 7 have come around to score runs. 4 of those stolen bases were after a guy got on due to a walk or an error by the other team. So not only is this team stealing more bases, they're stealing them at very opportune times. Case in point, Friday, Tyler Fitzgerald, who scored the winning run, drew a walk there with 1 out, steals second, and then Lamont Wade Jr. strikes out, and then Willie Adames singles him in for the winning run, set up by the stolen base. How are you liking the stolen base approach so far to start the season?
Well, I mean, look, speed doesn't really go through a slump. Can you get a bad jump on a play? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But for the most part, if you are a speedy player and you have good instincts, it's going to be very difficult to go through a slump in terms of running the bases, right? And
Yeah.
so they put in a lot of pressure on the pitcher to throw strikes so that you don't go to first base and then disrupt the next at bat as
Mm-hmm.
you're worried about holding that guy on. Disrupting the catcher staying down and framing a strike because he's worried about the run game. Distracting and putting pressure on the infield to hustle up, make a big play, and throw it across the diamond quickly because you're putting pressure on the base pass, on a first and third situation, on a base hit to right field, going
Yeah.
first to third, scoring from second. Like, these are all little ways that I call free 90s, meaning
Yeah.
giving up free 90 feet to the opponent. And when you're putting pressure on an offense and on a defense to score runs and to keep you from scoring runs because of the speed on the base pass, I just think that it makes the game a lot easier. Putting
Mm-hmm.
balls in play, right? There's the 3 true outcomes. Well, what if I
Yeah.
chop one in between third and short and I'm fast and I can get on? No, that's not a true outcome. That's what
No,
that is to me, is that's a base hit. And if I'm slow, that's an out,
that's
right?
baseball. Yeah. No,
Literally the difference between starting a rally in an inning and not. So these are all the hidden ways of getting free runs. And to me, the Giants have mastered that this year, and I hope that trend continues.
yeah, I mean, you talk about other ways they could disrupt, these stolen bases. It changes the way teams have to kind of play their defense as well. Saturday night, Jung Hoo Lee gets a double, steals third base, gets one of the best jumps you're going to see all year long. And that changed the way the defense ended up playing for Matt Chapman there. I believe the Mariners brought the infield in a little bit
Yes,
on Chapman with the runner on third. And then what does Chapman do? He pokes one right at the third baseman that gets through for a double, where the third baseman's playing back a little bit. It's probably a different play there. It's
exactly.
one thing is setting up another. And we talk about, again, it's going to be a theme, unfortunately, a lot early on, is comparing what we're seeing this year to what we've seen in the past few years. Stuff like that we never saw that in the last few years, where one play sets up another play, where the last 6 years, it was kind of, everything was just kind of happening in its own sphere, so to speak. And again, I mentioned Jung Hoo Lee there. What a weekend for Jung Hoo Lee. Like, his first home series back, the crowd loves him. The Jung Hoo Lee chants are louder and louder than ever. They played his cheer song, his KBO song on Saturday night. That made me really happy. I was dancing in the press box there. Steven Risotto got the video of that. But Jung Hoo Lee, couple doubles on Saturday night, and that dude, the swagger this dude has. I mean, you talk about like what gets fans to love a player. Jung Hoo Lee just has such this cool swagger to him. Nothing seems to really faze him. And I asked him after the game, like, the confidence that you're getting stealing bases. He had a great line. The more you steal bases, the more confident you get doing it. And he's 3 for 3 now. And, the speed, it was kind of uncertain last year how much speed he had. I think he only had 2 stolen bases last year. but he's looking like a guy now, even in the 3-hole, is going to be a massive problem on the bases for opposing teams this year.
Yeah, and he's having a great start to the year. This is the guy that I was hoping that we signed. We
Yeah.
didn't really get a good look at it last year, and it's early. We're 2 weeks into the season, but this is exactly what you look for. And look, I know he's batting third in the lineup, but he's giving me the type of production when I sign a top of the order base wrecker, meaning a guy who's going to cause havoc on the base pass, speedy, rangy, sure-handed center fielder. This is what you're looking for. He's got great bat-to-ball skills, too. He
Yeah.
doesn't, in a lineup where a lot of guys strike out, he actually puts the ball in play and uses his speed a lot more. And I like that about him. He's been very clutch for this team. Every come-from-behind win, I feel like he's had his fingerprints all over it.
Absolutely. And one thing I'm really loving about Jung Hoo Lee, and I know you're going to love this too, he literally just seems like he could just pick a spot in the outfield, and that's where he's going to hit the ball. Like, he had one on Saturday, and then he had another great one yesterday. A fastball high, 96 mile an hour, gets in on it and knocks it into left field. The opposite field approach from Jung Hoo Lee. You talk about the bat-to-ball skills. Those are the moments right there where he's just really showing off just how great his hitting skills are.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he's been barreling it up. I think the outfield as a whole, if I was just going to talk about like the strength of the team, the offensive output from the outfield has been unbelievable. Matos and Yastrzemski splitting time in right field. They've both been great. Jung Hoo Lee has been amazing in center field, offensively and defensively. And then Elliot Ramos has been spectacular with 9 consecutive hits in 9 consecutive games to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to include the last year, he had a hit in the last game of the season last year. So technically, he even has a 10-game hitting streak right now, going back to last season. You mentioned the defense, though. Jung Hoo Lee this weekend went 3 for 3 against the wall in center field. Each time he made a play there, I'll be honest, I don't know if you're the same way, Shasky. When I see him chasing a ball back towards that center fence, I tense up a little bit.
I hold my breath.
I don't know what's going to happen. Each of those 3 times, he's turned around, back to the wall, runs into the wall there. I don't know, part of me thinks he does it on purpose just for the dramatics of it. But he even said, like, I'm not doing that on purpose. That's just kind of how I'm playing it. I know that the warning track here is a little bit bigger than other places. And that tells me, like, he is starting to understand this outfield. There was a little bit of a trial and error with him last year. But defensively, I feel like the whole Jung Hoo Lee wall watch, it's going to go away really quickly. Like, we're going to stop worrying about that, I think, pretty soon.
And quietly, they've got really good arms in the outfield. Something that I don't think we've been able to say for quite some time. Ramos, I would say average to above average arm. Jung Hoo's got a cannon. He does. He's got a really good arm. And Yastrzemski's always had a good arm.
Yeah, very plus defender, knows that outfield very well. Yeah. Looking into the infield here, Willie Adames, again, it's been a bit of a slow start for him with this new contract. And I don't want to say the P word, that he's pressing or anything like that. I think it's a little too soon to start, doing that. I mean, some guys get off to slow starts, so I'm not going to think too much about it. But, he steps to the plate on Friday, and I sent out a tweet as he's digging in. Willie Adames can really endear himself to the fan base right now. Couple pitches later, he endeared himself to the fan base pretty well right now. That is how you start off your Giants home career. I know he's hitting like 220 something right now, but when you walk off hit on opening on the home opener like that, that's how you get fans to love you.
Well, he made a play yesterday in the Sunday game. Julio Rodriguez up the middle, one of the faster players in the league, where he had to pivot, spin, and throw him out. And I thought it was a spectacular play. And he had a rough Friday. The opener, his defense was rough. I think there was at least 2 balls he should have made a play on and barely got the glove on either one of them. So, there's a learning curve to our infield.
Yeah.
Every grass is different. Every dirt is different. And, how the ball reacts to that is different. You may laugh at that. Oh, you're a big leaguer. No. There are different playing surfaces and how hard they are, how thick they are, how the ball bounces. And so there's a learning curve to that. That being said, I've been really impressed with him at shortstop. Him and Fitzgerald in particular have made some really nice inning-changing double plays, whether it's to end the inning, end a rally, slow down a rally, stop a rally. They've been excellent.
Yeah, he had one, what was it, on Fitz, when you bring him up top of the 7th on Saturday night. Hayden Birdsong's got a runner on first. Birdsong's coming in relief. And again, you never know these innings, they can go south pretty fast if you're not careful. gets that clutch double play, had the presence of mind to step on the bag at second before making an incredible throw to first, basically removed any stress that Birdsong was going to face that inning. Those are the moments there where it's just like, again, Fitzy had the first official error of the season for the Giants on Friday, bounces right back the next day and has that great play at second base. The more he gets comfortable there, the more confident he's going to be there. And you have the potential for, again, I'm not saying get the Gold Glove awards ready, but you got a very plus up the middle defense there with Adames and Fitz, and I'm absolutely loving it right now.
Yeah, I am too. The other guy that we haven't brought up yet, and I know Lamont Wade's, struggling, I would say,
He
to
had
start
3
the
extra base
season.
hits on Friday.
But Wilmer has been bopping. Patrick Bailey's not really driving the ball right now. And I am worried about him offensively. I know it's early. He slumped really hard to end the year last year. He's a young player, and we're gonna need him. And I need him to. I would like him to have a nice multi-hit game this series against the Cincinnati Reds. I think his soul needs it.
Yeah, and again, one of the great things about Bailey is, I mean, he is a defense-first catcher. I think a lot of Giants fans are still in the mode of your catcher has to be able to provide offense, which is understandable. I mean, you had the greatest catcher in franchise history in the squat right before Bailey came along, so that's understandable. But the defense is still there. It was really cool seeing him get his first Gold Glove award on Saturday night. But I think the fact that Bailey is lower in the lineup now was going to be helpful. He's been hitting, eighth for the most part to start the season, and I think that's a good spot for him. I think the reality is for Patrick Bailey isn't a knock on him. I just think he's always going to be a defensive first catcher. Like I don't envision him being.
You can't bat 120. I mean, no. You've got to get it up to the 220s, to the 240s. League average right now is about 242.
Yeah. 245. If you can get me in that 240, 250 range with plus Gold Glove level defense, Brandon Crawford made a career out of Gold Glove defense with 250 hitting. That will absolutely find you a spot in the lineup. But again, Bailey's greatest skill set is, again, still behind the plate. An interesting thought, and I don't want to get too deep into this because this is something that might impact Patrick Bailey, though, is the implementation of the automatic ball strike system. His big trait is pitch framing. Just a couple seconds on that, Shasky. Are you at all concerned if baseball does implement that full time next year, how that might impact Bailey's value?
No, because there's more than just framing. Yes, framing is important. Blocking the ball, cannon, meaning having an arm, pop time, meaning your throw down to second or down to third, command of the repertoire of each individual pitcher versus the Rolodex of hitters that you're going up against and your mind. Like, these are all things that have nothing to do with pitch framing. There's so much that goes into being a great catcher. Framing is just one aspect. And I think his mind is very underrated.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But again, it's something that's going to be thinking about. But again, it shows just how deep Bailey's value goes. Andrew Bailey behind the dish a lot this weekend, handling a pretty impressive outing by the bullpen overall this weekend. The bullpen this weekend, 7 runs allowed, 4 of them were earned, 3 unearned runs due to the Tyler Fitzgerald error on Friday, over 15 1/3 innings pitched. And in a weekend where the starters didn't go super deep into the games, Justin Verlander, 2 1/3 innings on Friday. Robbie Ray, Justin Hicks, Jordan Hicks both get into the 6th inning in their starts as well. But again, the bullpen's been a massive strength for this team for the last few years. And this looks like it could be the best bullpen we've seen from this team over the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, I know Duvall struggled yesterday, and he's just going to struggle to hold runners on. It's just a thing with him. Couple walks, couple hits. I didn't love the outing, but overall, he's been really impressive.
Honestly, I'm sorry. With Duvall yesterday, I started to cut you off there, but I have a hard time really getting too mad about Duvall's outing yesterday. Obviously, Robles got on there, and they decided, and he got Julio Rodriguez to ground out and move Robles over to second base, which is huge. I mean, Julio Rodriguez hit 2 incredible home runs this weekend, an absolute shot, 108 off the bat on Friday, had another big home run yesterday. That dude's incredibly hard to get out, so good on him there. And then the Giants made the decision to intentionally walk Cal Raleigh, who had been killing them all weekend long as well, to face Randy Arozarena, who was 2 for 13 in that series heading into that bat. You got to really credit Arozarena. He went out and just got a slider on the opposite side of the plate and poked it in the left field. Just some good hitting by him. I think Duvall did everything you need him to do. It's just Arozarena just did a little bit better.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. He's the least of my concerns currently.
Absolutely, yeah.
Bivens is much bigger concern. I think getting another lefty in that bullpen is another definite need, and I would probably be striking sooner rather than later. I don't love Hayden Birdsong out of the bullpen. I like him as
No,
a
I don't
starter.
either.
We'll see. We'll see how Root looks. They have Carson Wisenhunt in the AAA. I don't know. I don't like my young starters going to the bullpen. I like my young
Yeah.
starters remaining young starters so that they're ready and groomed to go heavy and deep into games. I like Eric Miller right now. I love Ryan Walker right now. Tyler Rogers has been solid. I know that Friday's affair, the home opener, there's just a lot back and forth.
That was a wild game.
It really
Absolutely wild.
was. But I think overall, the bullpen has been a giant, giant, giant strength of this team.
Yeah, no pun intended there with the three giants.
No,
Yeah,
not really.
Yeah, no, I like it there.
Don't dodge me.
Yeah. Just Verlander, though, on Friday made his first home start in front of the home crowd. A rough start for him.
Couldn't throw strikes.
Yeah. I was, sitting in the press box with Steven Risotto. His thought, he was kind of wondering if maybe the long ceremony to, before the game, maybe that threw off his rhythm there a little bit. I know pitchers are great creatures of habit.
What about the strike zone? I was off to the side down the first baseline, so it's always tough to tell. I thought he got squeezed a little.
Yeah.
Not that he had his best stuff. And then defensively, they had the infield in, and Fitzgerald made a huge error.
Yeah. So it's, again, with Verlander, I feel like every start, I don't think we need to put it under the microscope there, but it was a warm day on Friday as well. And again, just a very wild game. The Mariners starter, I'm spacing on who his name was that day there. Luis F. Castillo. Luis F. Castillo, not to be confused with Luis Castillo, the former Giants prospect, who also is a pitcher for the Mariners. By the way, yeah, very rarely you see players with the same name, two players with the same name on a team. And so the Mariners, Luis F. Castillo, he went 3 innings that day. So just one of those weird, wild, offensively driven days, though. But we talk about that home opener. I mean, that was a lot. That was the return of torture baseball right there. Like that game, it just felt like any moment it could swing one way or the other. And there's a lot at the end. Obviously, they got the win. That felt like just fun, torturous Giants baseball.
It really did. And just that ballpark is so beautiful. Sam, if I were to tell you just the history of the franchise is the best part about the Giants, the second best part would be the ballpark.
It's so incredible to see the 25 years of this ballpark. You had the Barry Bonds greatness. You had the championship greatness. And now I feel like with Bob Melvin at the helm here, you have a chance for maybe a new era of great fun Giants baseball. And with an 8-1 start, first place, by percentage points above the Dodgers, you could not have scripted a better start to the season for the Giants.
It just feels like, and I want to get into this on the next podcast.
Yeah.
Boy, it sure feels like the Giants and the fans are starting to come back together to each other. I feel like the team is starting to play a brand of baseball that we all love. It feels like the fans are optimistic. Whatever you want to call it, the name of Posey, the car washing that they put the organization through with putting Posey in the driver's seat, like however you want to shake it down, I feel as a fan way more connected to this Giants team than I have in a long time.